Duke Eclipse presents the Horror Hideout Podcast, a podcast covering everything horror, including books, comics, and movies. Presented by Dawson Duke and Kayla Bullock.
So this is episode 11.
I'm Kayla.
I'm Dawson.
Welcome to Horror Hideout.
We're covering what might be my favorite horror movie of all time. I say that a lot, but we've covered a lot of my favorites on the podcast, so we're probably going to have to get into ones we haven't seen soon.
Yeah. Willy's Wonderland, starring
Yes.
Nick Cage.
If you don't know, if you have just listened to the podcast and you haven't seen my other channels, I have a channel where I make shorts and a channel where I make just like regular long form videos. And I've done one long form video on Willy's Wonderland and probably like 10 shorts on it because I really like this movie.
So, spoiler-free review.
Nick Cage beats up animatronics. I don't know if that's really spoiler free, but that's it.
Yeah. So, one thing I watched the special features earlier, and one thing I didn't think about until I watched them, and then because I watched them before I watched the movie again, it's kind of like a Western.
Yeah.
And I never thought about that. Like, Nick is the cowboy who rides in, he cleans up the town, and even the difference in the filming from inside to outside, like outside looks like an Old West movie. And in the interview that I watched, Nick Cage said it's like Pale Rider, which is a Western, meets Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And I loved that quote.
They had that on like advertising stuff.
Oh.
I think they might have even had it. They might have referenced it in one of the not like within like the story of one of the comics, but I feel like they referenced it in the interview they did at the beginning of the first comic, which my mom has not read the comics. I have, so no matter what, when we're talking about it, I'm gonna know about the comics. Like,
right.
I can't put that on my head just to talk about the movie. Right. The comics are in there.
Right. So he said it was ridiculous to sublime, and he wants you to take away whatever you want from it. He doesn't want the movie to just be explained away. He said, be entertained and have fun.
It's kind of that thing we talked about when we talked about Mad God, where it's up to the viewer's interpretation, and he has no say on what you think.
Right.
And he realizes that.
Right.
So... Okay, so I did want to talk about some of the stuff that happened before the movie was made. So, Geo Parsons posted a short, I think just on YouTube, that was called Willy's Wonderland. And all it was basically a guy... I think his car maybe breaks down, but he walks into a place, there's animatronics, one of them walks towards him, he punches it in the face and leaves, and that's like basically all the short is. Like, legit. So he had this idea forever that he wanted to make into a movie, but he didn't know if he could get funding for it, so he posted it online, and Nicolas Cage came across the script and liked it so much that he volunteered to be the janitor. And him and Geo Parsons talked, and I guess this is kind of a spoiler, but they decided to keep the protagonist completely silent, because he actually did have a few lines in the original script, and Nick Cage was the one that suggested he be completely silent. So did they kickstart this movie?
Not that I saw.
Okay. What am I thinking of then? Did we just talk about something that was kickstarted?
Mad God, they did a Kickstarter.
That's what I was thinking of. You're right. So anyway, so Nicolas Cage actually produced this movie. So that's basically all I wanted to say.
And Dawson said he doesn't make a sound. He makes, and I'm not splitting hairs, but he does make some sounds.
Yeah.
He just doesn't talk.
Yeah.
So
there's no he has no dialogue.
Yeah.
Other characters have dialogue. He has no dialogue.
But when he drinks his soda, he's got the
yeah.
And then kind of gets frustrated at the pinball machine. And okay, so let's dig into the movie.
Okay.
So it opens with a black and white video from Willy's Wonderland playing.
Yes.
And it's their birthday song.
It's your birthday. That's all I'm going to sing, because I don't remember the rest, and YouTube might strike us down.
Oh, there you go. But then we also see flashes of people in there.
Are you waiting for me to say something?
Yeah.
What?
Isn't it her parents? that we see? Liv's parents?
Is that what we see at this point?
I thought so, but maybe not.
I don't...
We see people being it's like kind of flashy, and
yeah.
we see people being chased inside Willy's Wonderland.
And they get caught, but I don't think we actually see the animatronics yet.
No.
We just see them get cornered.
No.
And you know what it reminds me of?
What?
The cold open to the FNAF movie.
According to everybody, this is not a ripoff of the FNAF
Yes,
movie.
according to Geo Parsons, he was not inspired by FNAF.
Um,
I don't know. I don't see why you would need to lie about that. But it could... I mean, there's a lot of horror that comes out of animatronics, because you can't tell me when you were a kid you didn't get freaked out by Chuck E. Cheese at least once. Like,
right.
it's just kind of inherently creepy. So, I could see it, but also at the same time, there's some things that it's like... I feel like maybe you were a little bit inspired.
Yeah. Personally, I like this better than the Five Nights movie.
Yeah, I agree.
So then we cut to the janitor, and he is driving in his car, and he
Yes.
has a nice car.
And this is Nick Cage.
Yes.
He is referred to as a janitor throughout the movie. We never learn a real name or anything.
Yes. But we do see...
Is it like a Camaro, or what kind of car is it?
I don't know. It's something fancy, and I like it. But we do see a military ID on the mirror of his car, and the plates are actually a reference to his character in Con Air, who was U.S. Army Ranger Cameron Poe, which I thought was kind of a cool little tidbit that they referenced his character from another movie.
It is a Chevrolet Camaro SS.
There you go. Aaron would be my husband would be disappointed I didn't know that.
I thought it was a Camaro. I said that.
But yeah, so he's driving along and he hits spikes in the road.
Yes.
Like
and it's
police spikes.
Yeah, it's like professional spike strips. It's not like a board with nails through it or anything. It's like actual police
Right.
strips. So we see him kind of waiting by the road, and we don't really know how much time passes, but some time passes. And a tow truck pulls up to him, being driven by a man we will come to know as Jed. And the whole movie, he's got... Is it just like a sausage? Is that what you think it is?
I think it was a cigarette that he just or a cigar that he never lights.
But it looks flat at the end. Cigars
Oh,
aren't, or cigars aren't flat at the end, are they?
Not that I know.
Because in the comics, he smokes a cigar the whole time.
I thought he was just chewing on a cigar, but
It looks like a beef stick, like a thick, like a.
well, yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
I want to go back to the him not speaking thing. I
Okay.
skipped this note I had. In the interview I watched earlier, Nick says he was inspired by Harpo Marx, Buster Keaton, Charles Bronson, and he knew that he could pull this off and still have the impact
Yeah.
he wanted without speaking.
And he does, in my opinion.
Me too.
But okay, so this guy named Jed pulls up in his tow truck and is like, "Well, you're quite unlucky there. Stupid teenagers must have taken these." So I think he even says like the police had these go missing and they think teenagers got a hold
From
of
the
them.
back of the truck or something.
Yeah, like the car was left somewhere.
Yes, you found him.
Yeah. So anyway, he tows his car and picks up the strips.
And then the whole time they're in the tow truck, like Jed just will not shut up.
Yeah, and he's taking Nick's. I'm gonna call him Nick. He takes the janitor's silence as like him conversing back.
Like, well, you don't want to tell me where you're from. It's okay. There's people who don't
Yeah.
want to look back, and
People like to leave the past in the past.
right,
And,
just dorky stuff.
yeah, he's one of those people that can't sit in silence.
Yeah.
So then we cut away, and
But I also think that might have been to make him likable, not to make him likable, but to develop kind of a rapport with
Yeah.
the janitor, in
Yeah.
the movie, so that he trusts them.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think the janitor trusts anyone.
No, I don't. But I think that was kind of.
No, I
point.
know. I'm just saying. Okay, so then we cut to Willy's Wonderland, outside the building, where gas is being poured on it by Liv.
Mm-hmm. And there's all kinds of graffiti outside the building. One of them says
Yeah.
the gateway to hell, and one of them says burn this place.
I think one says child killers
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, and it's just this plain white, kind of concrete looking building.
Yeah. It's got a colorful sign though.
With a couple windows that are boarded up.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
The building in the FNAF movie, where it has the big sign on top that.
Yeah.
Except in this, the sign's not that big. It really does feel like they just rented a building and stuck a sign on the front.
So we cut to Liv. She is pouring gasoline all around the building
Yeah.
and wants to set it on fire.
It's pretty much a brick building, though, right?
That's what it looks like.
And she's putting just a little bit of gas on the front. I don't think it's gonna burn down from that.
Probably not. I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, she's a teenager, though, so what does she know? But
Right.
it was just something I thought of.
So
She has a lighter out. She lights the lighter, and right as she does, a police car pulls up from behind her.
And it's the sheriff.
Yes.
And did you notice, we see the sheriff later on when she's a little bit younger, but did you notice how much she aged from the time, like I know she was going to get older from the time Liv was little till now, but like she just looks like...
I didn't pay attention.
She just looks like, I don't know, like life
So,
has been really rough on
did-
her.
Did we see Liv's parents die already at some point? Or is that a flashback
No, that's
later?
a flashback when the sheriff's talking about what happened.
Okay.
How she ended up with Liv.
Okay.
I don't know who the people were at the beginning of the movie.
I think they're just random people that were tricked. Okay, so,
She puts Liv in the back of the police car.
yeah. And then they drive away, and we find ourselves at a trailer, and the police car pulls up to the trailer, so obviously they live here. And I don't know if we found out before or we find it now, but basically the sheriff has adopted Liv.
So we don't really get an explanation right now of what the relationship between Liv and the sheriff is.
Yeah.
First time I watched it, I thought she was her daughter. Just
Yeah.
assuming because they live together and, you know, she's looking out for her. Dawson said he didn't think that. But, so anyway, then the tow truck pulls up.
Yeah.
With...
I'll say this. I don't know what I thought the first time because I've seen this so many times and read the comics.
Oh, okay. Is Liv in the comics?
We basically get the flashback again at one point where the parents are there and so what we get in the movie in the flashback is she hid and that's how she survived. What happens in the comics is the parents die and the sheriff's like, let me keep her. She never goes inside. She's outside with them when her parents die.
So
like
was the movie first?
Yes. The comics came out like a month or two after the movie came out.
Okay.
And they're a prequel series to it. There's a 4-issue miniseries. And there's a few discrepancies like that in there, but they're nothing like major. But like some of the appearances of... Well, I won't say that yet, but... Anyway. So they arrive back at their trailer and the sheriff is like... still has her in handcuffs and is like taking her inside when Jed pulls up with the janitor still in his car.
Right. Tow truck.
Yeah.
Not splitting hairs again, but
yeah.
Tow truck.
And like this whole time his car is on the back. We should have made that clear.
Yeah,
I don't know if
and
we
he's
said.
Basically Jed's like, hey, I found your spike strips, blah blah blah, and the sheriff's
Yeah.
like, I'll deal with you later. I don't want to talk to you right now.
Yeah, because she has to deal with her own household first.
Which I kind of think once you get farther into the movie, I think he was just letting her know they had somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
No,
was
I
just
think
his
so, too,
way
yeah.
to, you know, hey, I've
Yeah.
got somebody.
I don't think no matter what was going on, she would have taken the back then.
No, I know, but I just think that it was kind of like he was telling her they had somebody
Yeah.
lined up to go work. So, then we are at the shop.
Let's take a break real quick because I want to ask you something. Have I told you about what happens in the comics?
Probably.
There's pretty much two storylines. One is who the animatronics were before they were animatronics. The other storyline is when Tex first bought the restaurant and it was still open.
That'd be fun.
So we get some more moments with the sheriff and Tex and Jed and all that.
Okay. I'd kind of like to read those.
I like the backstories you get for the animatronics. That side of the story, though, is pretty much just people dying. There's not...
No.
We get some, but for the most part, it's just people dying. But, I mean, I'd still recommend them. I like them. So, anyway, back to the actual movie. So, you know, they kind of dismiss Jed. So, do we follow Jed here as he gets...
I think we just cut to the auto shop.
Do we? Okay. So, there's a lot of shots in this movie that are kind of like drone or like helicopter shots from above to like get us what a location looks like. So we got one of those for like the trailer park earlier, and I like those shots. It helps.
And that's what they do with his car at the beginning too when he's driving. Like they do that, that common shot in movies where he's driving down a windy road.
I like those shots though. It helps me figure out where they're at.
Yeah, like relationally.
So it cuts to the auto shop, and Jed says he can have his tires fixed by the morning.
It'll cost $1,000.
Yes.
And you can't take a credit card.
Yes, because the janitor pulls out a card, and the janitor looks over, and there's an ATM in the corner, but it says out of order, and Jed is like, yeah, we were going to get internet a few years back, but it never came to fruition. But I'll tell you what, I think we can make a deal. So...
he calls somebody.
Yes. And they meet at Willy's Wonderland. Sorry, I paused because a fly flew right by me. So they meet at Willy's Wonderland, and this is when we meet Tex, who is the owner of Willy's Wonderland, which was a restaurant that was open once upon a time. That was like I don't know, I don't want to say it's like Chuck E. Cheese, because you don't see, other than the pinball machine, there's not really like arcade games or anything. It was basically just a pizza place with animatronics.
But there's the...
oh, I guess there is an arcade room.
Gus's game room.
So, yeah, so it is like Chuck E. Cheese. I forgot that game room was there.
So, before we get farther into the actual story, some of the rooms in that place, like the treehouse room, Siren Sarah's room, is so pretty.
I know, the set design for this is so cool.
And you compared it to Chuck E. Cheese, but Chuck E. Cheese is like, and I'm not arguing with you because that's the closest thing, but Chuck E. Cheese is like one big room, and this is like a warehouse with... you've got her treehouse, you've got Gus's game room, you've got the, what they call it, the party room where nobody was supposed to go. I mean, they've got all these different areas that all look completely different. And, so it's really, the set is really cool for this movie.
The thing is, they're so memorable, but I feel like we could have spent more time in them. I feel like they're somewhat forgettable because we don't spend more time in them. Because we spend so much time in that main room.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the room that they first come into when they enter just has tables, and there's a stage in the back that has all the animatronics set up.
Yeah.
So, I feel like... and I mean, we see some of the, like, backstage areas, too, like the closet that has the shirts in it and stuff. Is it a closet that has the shirts in it, and then there's a separate kitchen?
Yes, the closet with the shirts is like the cleaning cupboard with all the cleaning supplies.
So we see some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, too, but we spend so much time in that main room, I feel like we could have spent more times other places, because they're kind of cool.
But, I mean, we do have fights in the bathroom and fights in Gus's room, and then there's the one in the treehouse, and the treehouse is just amazing.
I know, but, like, Siren Sarah's area, like, spoilers for later, but, like, Siren Sarah isn't killed in her area.
Right.
Like, it would have been cool to see them go back in that area to take her out.
Right.
Is it in the... I think it's in the second Paul Blart movie. Doesn't he go into a place that's like a rainforest cafe?
I don't remember. I don't know if I've seen the second one.
You did because you hated it.
Oh. That's probably why I don't remember.
But I'm pretty sure there's a scene in that where he, like, goes into, like... I mean, it's probably not, like, actually a rainforest cafe, but it's that kind of vibe where there's, like, plants and stuff all inside. And that's... I was just going to say that's what it reminds me of. Or it does, like, a rainforest cafe. It just reminds me of that.
Yeah. So, Tex takes the janitor, or tells the janitor that if he wants to reopen the restaurant.
Yeah.
And if he will spend the night cleaning, he will pay his $1,000 bill. Yeah. And, that he will have his car outside for him when he gets done in the morning.
The way he explains what happened, why Willy's Wonderland's closed, is very dismissive. And you can kind of tell he's not telling the full story. Like, I mean, I know he had the cold open where he saw people get attacked, but I just mean, like, in general, you can tell that he's not being completely truthful.
Yeah, he says kids were climbing on the animatronics and got hurt.
Yeah, and he says a few lawsuits later and we had to close it.
Yeah.
Like, he makes it, he downplays it so much.
Yeah. So, Nick Cage agrees, and they actually lock him in with a chain and padlock on the front door, so
Yeah.
he can't get out.
Which he doesn't know.
Right.
He goes inside and then they do that. But we mentioned like the closet and stuff like that.
Oh, I forgot that. Yeah, Tex takes him in and shows him where the cleaning supplies are.
Yeah. And he picks up a shirt that says Willy's Wonderland on it. Which, Willy's Wonderland has not had that much merch, unfortunately. But one of the few things they had is they had those shirts at Hot Topic that were the employee shirts. But, so they're just employee shirts that say Willy's Wonderland. And he says, welcome to the crew. So then the janitor puts on that shirt.
Right. And I think it's so funny that every time his shirt gets dirty, he goes...
I know, I was going to bring that up.
He changes his shirt.
A lot of people make this comparison. It feels like a video game.
Yes.
It feels like he levels up after every fight.
Yeah.
So Tex tells him a few things, one of which is make sure you take breaks. So the janitor sets a timer on his watch.
And he brings... We see him when the tow truck's coming. He gets in the trunk and he has a case of drinks and he takes those with him and he's got those inside Willy's with him.
And they're called Punch Up or something.
And it says it's like a caffeinated Kickstarter for you or something.
And they're in the comics too. One of the characters in it is drinking one and then he goes to fight the animatronics. He mentioned something about how much energy it gives him or something. So I wonder, I don't know what Geo Parsons' plans are for more stuff. But he wrote the Willy's Wonderland comics, and he wrote a series called Beast of Bower Boulevard, and he said they take place in the same world. I wonder if we'll see Punch Up pop up in other stuff he makes.
Maybe. I want to see a sequel to this.
It might just be called Punch.
I think it's Punch.
Okay.
It's got a fist for the logo.
Yeah, but I thought maybe it was like Punch Up or something.
Maybe, I don't know.
But it might just be Punch. Anyway... So yeah, so we see he has that. So we see him loading it in the fridge in the kitchen, and the kitchen is kind of an area we keep coming back to. It's where he takes his breaks at.
And they have a pinball machine in there.
Well, what I was gonna say is he notices something covered in cloth in the corner, and he like rips the cloth off, and it's an old pinball machine that's like very dirty. The pinball machine is also referenced in the comics because we see like blueprints for it that have a note on it that talk about how they're making it unwinnable. I don't know how you win a pinball machine. Like, I know you get points, but I don't know how you can make a pinball machine unwinnable when the whole point is just to get points.
Oh.
Because we see him, like, getting points.
Yeah.
So I don't know what exactly that means.
One thing I saw earlier was that pinball machine, it's a Willy's Wonderland pinball machine. It was custom made by the staff of the movie. They're like, we don't even remember what the pinball machine was to begin with, but they completely gutted it, redid the whole entire thing to be Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah, I knew that. I mean, it's a cool looking pinball machine. That is something that I would like to have in real life.
I know. We went to the pinball arcade last night and I was playing one and I was like, wonder how much this would cost to have at home. $16,000.
Oh my gosh. What was it?
Monster Bash, I think is what it's called.
I wonder if you could find someone online that makes custom Willy Wonderland ones. Like, I'm sure you could, but it'd probably be expensive.
Yeah.
But I've won the lottery. So anyway.
Tell anybody, but there'll be signs.
So we don't see him using the pinball machine yet, but he uncovers it here. And then he gets... I don't even know if he uncovers it here. It's the first time he takes a break.
I don't remember.
But he starts cleaning. So at first... And I saw one person review this movie, and they said, I just spent a whole movie watching Nicolas Cage clean, and I'm not mad about it. And we do see a lot of Nicolas Cage cleaning in this movie.
I was actually thinking about that, because we do, and I'm like...
I wonder how much runtime is taken up by him cleaning.
I don't know. And they even speed it up, like when he's doing the bathroom, they speed it up.
Like, do, like, fades.
Yeah.
So anyway, we see him... I think first, I mean, not that it matters, but I think first we just see him, like, cleaning stuff up off tables.
And he's so,
Meticulous?
No, like, he's doing it so fast. Like, it's just, and that's not sped up, it's just, like, he's, like, getting crap done.
I said meticulous, I meant motivated. Like, he's, like, he's, like, locked in on it. But then he quickly goes to mopping. Which, one thing I want to say is, he starts mopping, but he hasn't swept yet. So you see it, like, crumpled up paper and, like, all this crap on the floor while he's trying to mop.
I know. That's alright, though.
I know. Not that it matters. But...
He's an actor, not a real janitor.
And at this point, at one point, the animatronics came to life and started singing the Happy Birthday song.
He was in the other room when that happened, and because he came out and turned the lights on.
Yes.
Now he kind of sees Willy moving, like, kind of out of the corner of his eye a couple different times.
But right now when he's mopping, I think he hears a sound and turns around, and Ozzy the ostrich is right there.
Yeah. And something about Willy, he is a weasel,
yeah.
But he has, like, a giraffe neck.
Maybe we should talk about that. Maybe we should talk about what all the animatronics are here, just to get people what they are. So, there's Willy the weasel.
And he is bright orange and yellow, and he's super tall, and he has, like, a giraffe neck.
And I saw someone say they changed the name of the movie from Willy's Wonderland to Wally's Wonderland for copyright reasons, or trademark reasons or something. I wonder what Wally's Wonderland is.
If that has anything to do with Wally World and whatchamacallit.
I don't know. Anyway, so, did we just talk about Willy? Did we say any of the others?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's Willy, there is, Siren Sarah, who's like a blue, almost like a sugar plum fairy from, like, the Nutcracker. Like, that's the kind of vibe I get. But her face can, like, split open and she has, like, sharp teeth.
So, I'm so glad we're going through all this. So, and we'll get back to each character, but some things that they talked about in there, there's a special feature on the DVD that talks about how they made them. And all of the characters are foam fabrication.
Yes.
And it was funny because the guy that plays Gus the gorilla was talking about how, because you've got this big bulky gorilla suit.
Is it Gus the gorilla or just Gus Gorilla?
I don't know. Whatever.
I think he's just Gus Gorilla.
Whatever. But he was talking about how his actual human hands only went up to like the elbow of Gus, and so when he punched, he had to be really careful how far he was going. And then he said when he had the head on, all he could see were feet and the floor. Ozzy, who's the ostrich, he is what they call a black art puppet, which is where you do a green screen behind you. They actually filmed him in the restaurant. They didn't use a green screen with him. They filmed him on set with two operators in green suits.
And do you want to know something about him? They only had one suit for each animatronic. What's that face?
You ruined it. That was my next comment.
Well, that's my comment, because I need to say some stuff too. They only had one suit for each animatronic, so whenever they were filming, like, the death scenes for the animatronics, and they're, like, covering them in, like, grease and oil and stuff, it's like, we have one chance at this. Like, if this doesn't turn out good, that's it.
And I think that's cool, because they had to film the clean scenes first, because we've got the flashbacks.
Yeah.
They had to be very meticulous about how they filmed everything. The only thing different, besides what you said, was the fairy had two faces. And she didn't have a costume. That's like her actual body. She had two faces. She had her sweet face and her angry face. And they were just, like, typical... It made me think kind of like Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire. Just kind of that typical... What's that stuff they use?
Latex?
Yeah, like latex masks for her. And she is actually the only one who is voiced by her suit performer.
Well, one thing I want to mention is, the Nighty Night never speaks in either the movie or comics, and he is the only one that doesn't. Artie Alligator never says a word in the movie, but he talks in the comics. Ozzy never talks in the comics, but he has one line in the movie, and it's at this point when they're about to fight, he says, "I'm gonna feast on your face." And in the comics, we actually find out the reason he can't talk is because when he was a kid, his mom strangled him, which got him in an obsession with strangling people, but it ruined his vocal cords to where he can't talk.
Aww.
So he became a serial killer that killed people by strangling them.
Huh. Okay, so back to our characters.
Yes.
So we've got Willy.
Yeah.
We've got Gus.
Let's talk about Ozzy since we're with him right now. Okay. Ozzy the ostrich, I mean, he's just like a 6-foot tall ostrich.
And, they made his neck, like the way they I can't remember what they called it with his neck, but they made it so that he could move in certain ways, and like they had two people controlling him.
He was like a giant puppet.
Yeah.
Was he the only one that was like a puppet? The rest were all suits?
Yes, except for the fairy, she was
a
her.
real actor, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing I wanted to say was, I will say you can kind of tell their suits. You can kind of you can kind of tell they're not animatronics, in some of the scenes and stuff. But it's fine because it doesn't take away from your viewing experience.
Well, and see, I'm gonna say the opposite with Sarah because she is a person and she does such a good job looking like an animatronic. The way she walks with her hands.
I think for me, it's mostly Ozzy. Like when when the janitor hits him in the face with the end of the mop, the way it reacts, like the way its neck moves and everything, it feels very puppet. It doesn't feel robotic.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just thinking specifically of Ozzy, but at certain points I feel like you can tell there.
Yeah. Well, I just think Sarah is. I mean, she does such a good job. So we've got Ozzy.
Yeah.
We've got the alligator.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Artie Alligator.
And he's kind of just there. I mean.
Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot. He's got like a beret because he's like an artist.
And then we've got the turtle.
Tito Turtle, who in the movie only speaks in Spanish, but in the book, like in the comics, he does talk in English. And he's just like a big blue turtle with a sombrero.
Yeah. And then we've got Cammy Chameleon.
Who
she is like the creepiest one out of all of them.
She's just a big green chameleon with a long tongue.
She's not really green.
Is she pink?
She's pink.
Yeah.
Like a pink or light. She's a really light color.
Yeah, I think she's pink, but I think some of the drawings we see of her are green. Like there's drawings on the wall in there and stuff, and that's why I said green.
But she's just kind of creepy looking.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that everybody?
She's got a really big head.
Yeah.
There's 8 of them. Who have we gone through? We kind of talked about Gus. Nighty Night. He just looks like a guy. Like he's kind of like a red-bearded guy with a giant sword.
And a giant nose.
Yeah.
He's like a medieval knight. I mean.
There's 8 of them because they're referred to as the Crazy 8 in the comics. So, we talked about Willy. We talked about Sarah. We talked about Artie. We talked about Ozzy.
We talked about Gus.
We talked about Gus. Talked about Knight. Who else? Okay, I think we've talked about all of them.
Okay, so basically, we were talking about Ozzy, the ostrich.
So Nick, the janitor, sees him standing there and hits him with his mop. And at first, Ozzy doesn't really react a whole lot to it. But the second time he does it, Ozzy says, "I'm gonna feast on your face," and attacks him.
It's kind of a funny scene because he just he's got his mop kind of in his fist and just hits him square on the body with it.
Yeah.
Twice.
Not the body, it's the neck.
So then the janitor breaks his mop in half, and so he's got a stick in each hand.
Yeah. And he basically just ends up stabbing him to death.
Yeah.
And the whole time, Ozzy's trying to use his beak to snap at him.
And I thought this was cool. They said on the thing I watched earlier, Nick Cage had to learn to brawl, Japanese jiu-jitsu, stick fight, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and then do all of them together. And he learned them all in one, all of his fight scenes in one day.
But what happens is whenever he kills Ozzy, there's all kinds of oil and grease and stuff all over him, black.
And he pulls out what looks like his spine.
Yeah, it looks like a metal spine.
And it's so cool that the way they did that, because obviously there's blood in this movie because people get killed, but it's so bloody with oil, and he's just he pulls the spine out.
That's what I was gonna say. Is you've never seen Samurai Jack, have you? I don't think you have. So in that show, it was a show on Cartoon Network that's about a guy. It's basically a samurai from feudal Japan gets stuck in the future, and he's trying to get back. But it's a post-apocalyptic kind of future, and it's a really cool show. But since it was made for kids, you can't show blood. So the way they get around that is just about everything he fights, since the future is a robot. So there's all these scenes where he eviscerates things and gets covered in black oil, but it's not blood, so they get away with it. So because there's even this one point he's fighting this big beetle robot, and he goes under it and slashes it, and it's completely covered in blood that's actually oil, and that's what this made me think of.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, it's being bloody without being bloody.
So he puts the ostrich's body in trash bags. And
yeah.
Is this when he tries to leave and figures out the door? Is it the first is the ostrich that he tries to leave and he figures out the doors are locked?
I think so, because I think he puts them in 2 trash bags, and he goes to push out the doors, and they won't open, so he realizes they're locked, and rather than, like, he's not even upset, he doesn't care. He's not trying to find a way out or anything. Right. He just sets the bags next to the door.
Don't you want to know his backstory? Like, I need to know more about this guy. Like, where did he come from?
I swear that somewhere I read that Geo Parsons wanted to do a TV show where the janitor went and fought a bunch of different creatures. Huh. But I can't find it anymore. Oh. I keep looking, and so maybe I made that up. Or maybe I'm confusing it with something else. But I swear I read that somewhere.
I think it'd be fun to see his background story. So anyway, after he kills Ozzy, this is what we were talking about earlier. He goes in and he changes his shirt.
Okay, so we cut back to Liv here, right? Mm-hmm. So her mom, in quotes, the sheriff, has handcuffed her to, like, is it a radiator?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. So she can't leave the trailer. So while she's sitting there...
And she even asks her, she's like, what if I need to eat?
And she's like, the sheriff says that there's, like, food under the table, like chips or something. And then she gives her a bucket to use the bathroom in.
Yeah. And, before she leaves, they scream at each other.
Yeah.
The sheriff's just like, I love you too. And, like,
yeah.
Liv is just kind of being a turd.
Is this when we get the flashback? When do we get the flashback?
I don't think that's until...
near the end.
The sheriff is telling the federal guy.
You're right.
About the story.
You're right.
So, then Liv's group of friends show up. And this part is so funny. Because there's a guy named... What's his name? I was going to say Aaron, but it's not Aaron. Aaron's the other guy. Anyway, one of the guys you can tell has a crush on Liv. And she's screaming for help, so he tries to break down the door.
Yeah.
And...
another guy just... or no, it's the girl just opens
yeah,
it, right?
And it's like he runs into the door and, like, hurts his shoulder, and then it just... and the door opens out anyway, so... You're not really going to bust down a door that...
And I don't really remember their names. Did you catch them?
Aaron. There's a guy named Aaron. Billy and Kathy are the couple. The blonde girl.
Bubblegum girl?
Uh-huh.
I thought she was going to be a bigger part of the movie. Like, the first time I watched it. Because she's so smart.
Yeah. So, they get in there. They see that Liv is... This is what Dawson's talking about with the smart... They get in there, they see that Liv's handcuffed to the radiator.
And the boys start searching around for something to break the handcuff.
Yeah, and, like, one of them finds a screwdriver, and they're kind of picking on him, and, the girl, I think her name's Kathy, she goes over there and pulls a bobby pin out of her hair and undoes the handcuffs for Liv.
And I really thought she was going to be a bigger part of the movie, because she seems so smart.
Yeah, yeah. But she didn't look, like... When you first see her, she's not a character you would think would be smart, because she's blonde, she's chewing gum, she's dressed kind of...
She's got, like, pinks and stuff, like, she's, like... Like, it would put you to mind of the girl from Zombieland Double Tap.
Yeah. Yeah. So they kind of get into an argument about what they're going to do, because Liv wants to go burn down Willy's, but she knows that this guy is in there, so she wants to go save him, and they're kind of like, no, we don't want to be involved.
Yeah.
And then the guy that has a crush on her kind of convinces everybody else to go.
And it's obvious to everyone except her that he has a crush on her.
Right.
So, they go to Willy's Wonderland, right?
Yes.
Are we still following them, or do we get another scene with the janitor before this? Do we get the bathroom scene?
Yes.
Okay. So here's when we see the janitor working on cleaning the bathroom. And he goes through and the sinks are so dirty and the mirrors are covered in graffiti and grime and all kinds of stuff. And we see him...
gross.
Yeah, we see him go through and scrub everything down. And my thinking was, is it hard to get graffiti off?
Whatever he was using was pretty powerful cleaning stuff.
That's what I was going to say. Would you have to use, like, paint remover, I would imagine?
I don't know. On the mirrors, it might come off pretty easy, but the wall, it would be a project. But he hears something, or he's done in the bathroom, so he leaves. And then he hears something in the bathroom, and he goes back in.
Yeah. And the sound seems to be coming from one of the
That's
stalls.
okay. Wait, that's when the animatronics come on because he goes out there and they're singing, and he shuts the light off and it shuts him down.
Yeah.
So then when he goes back in the bathroom, one of the mirrors it says it's your birthday and it looks like it's written in blood.
Yeah. I don't think it looks like it's written in blood. I think it looks like it's written in red paint.
Oh, okay.
Because it's too bright to be blood.
Something.
Yeah.
Something red.
I think there's actually kind of a reference to that in the comic. Because in the comic they murder one of the employees, and I think they write on the mirror. But I don't think it's Gus that does it. I'm pretty sure it's Artie. Because the whole thing is he's like an artist.
Oh.
And so when he was alive, like when he was a human and he was a serial killer, he was known as the Bloody Banksy. So anyway, he goes through and like kicks open all the stall doors.
Because there's a voice that asks if he wants to play hide and seek.
In the last stall, he looks inside of, and you can see from the outside that there's nothing in it. Like, you can see, because if something was in there, you would be able to see it. You can see there's nothing in it. But suddenly Gus appears out of nowhere and kicks him in the face. And there's no way he was hiding in there.
I thought maybe he dropped down from the ceiling.
He drops down from the ceiling, but there's nothing to drop down from. The stall doesn't go all the way to the ceiling.
No, but I meant like ceiling tiles.
I don't think it's tiles in there.
Oh, maybe it's not.
That's just like one plot hole I noticed.
They're magic. They're evil. They can do what they want.
Well, they do. I don't know when it's revealed, like when we have the flashback. I don't think it's not till she tells the story.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, he drops down and gets in a fight with Nick, and Nick pretty easily gets the upper hand.
And this gorilla is big. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a pretty big
Yeah.
animatronic.
And he slams it into one of the sinks and mirrors he just cleaned. And it makes me so sad because he just spent all that time cleaning it and then he smashed it.
And there's a big spot on the wall from when the gorilla kicked him at the beginning. Like, there's a big dent in the wall.
Yeah. And then he puts his face in a urinal, doesn't he? And, like, curb stomps him, essentially.
Yeah.
So Gus is dead. Like, he takes out Gus. And again, puts him in a trash bag and puts him by the door.
Is Gus the one he pulls his head off? Does he pull Gus's head off?
I don't remember.
I think he does.
Possibly.
But again, he, like Dawson said, puts him in a trash bag, puts him by the door.
Yeah, because I think we kind of see it.
So I know that he rips off one of his arms because we see him pick it up
Yeah.
and put it in the black trash bag.
Yeah.
So I think, if we're back on track, he carries the trash bags to the door, and Liv and her friends are there, and Liv is telling him through the window that he needs to get out of there, and it's not safe.
Not through the window, through the cracked door.
No, I thought it was through the glass in the window. Because
No.
she taps on the glass. There's boards over the window, and she taps on the glass between the boards.
I think they talk through, like, the crack in the door.
No, she talks through the window. Because then she watches him walk away. He just kind of...
I thought it was through the crack in the door, though.
I think it's through a window.
Okay.
So he just kind of walks away, like, doesn't really care what she's saying. And so then Liv decides she's going to break in and get him out, while the rest of her friends stay outside and figure out a way to get them out before they burn the place down.
Yeah. So, how does she get in?
She goes up on the roof. Well, she ends up in the vents somehow.
Yeah. Do we see how, or do we just cut to her?
No,
in the vents?
we cut to her in the
Okay.
vents.
So yeah, so we cut to her in the vents. The rest of her friends are outside.
Yeah.
Do we see... When she's in the vent, she comes down into Siren Sarah's
Well,
area.
alligators in there with her.
Chasing her?
Uh-huh.
But she comes down in Sarah's area, right?
Yes.
Which is the treehouse?
Yes.
So this is what you were talking about with the way Siren Sarah moves.
Yes.
Because we see her come out.
She moves like a robot, and
She moves like a mixture between a robot and a ballet dancer.
Yeah, and but she's the only
Human.
I was gonna say human, but she's not in a costume. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously she's got her mask on,
Yeah.
but she's not in a costume, and just the way she moves is scary.
She reminds me of a contortionist.
Yeah, yeah. So, her and Liv get into a fight,
Yeah.
and her friends outside hear her scream.
So doesn't the one guy want to go after her? and the other guy tells him no, but then the one girl starts climbing the ladder.
Yeah, the girl's like, I'll go. She's my friend. I'll go.
Yeah.
Like, the girl's just the blonde. I think her name's Kathy. She's just, like, the smart one of the group.
Yeah.
So then they all end up on the roof together.
And the roof doesn't hold.
Yeah, they fall through. And
one of them falls through first, and then the rest fall through.
It's, Aaron falls through, I think. They land in like a foam pit.
It's a ball pit.
Oh yeah, you're right, ball pit. So anyway, then we cut back to Liv, and the janitor comes in there. And one thing we haven't mentioned is he has a timer on his watch, and when the timer goes off, he takes a break, and he goes to the kitchen, he drinks a drink, and he plays the pinball machine.
In my mind, I don't know why. I don't know if we see exactly how much time it is, but in my mind, I imagine he works for an hour and then takes a 15-minute break. But that might just be because that's what people say to do. Yeah, so that might be just what's in my brain. And this is what I mean when I say it feels like a video game. Every time his watch goes off, he goes to take the break. And he, even on his break, he cleans a lot because he keeps wiping down the pinball machine until it's good enough that he can actually play it.
Right. And then he starts playing his hands every time.
And he drinks his soda, his punch.
Yeah. So he goes into Siren Sarah's tree house area, and his watch, he's getting ready to fight her, and his watch goes off. And I don't remember what he's got in his hand, but he hands it to Liv and just walks out.
I don't think that's at this part, is it? Because I thought it was a knife that he takes from her.
Oh, maybe it is.
And then this happened. I thought that happened later.
So what happened?
I thought it was. Yeah, it is later because it's the fight with Cammy.
Then why did Liv scream?
Because she gets attacked by Siren Sarah.
Oh, you're right.
But she gets away.
You're right.
Because Siren Sarah doesn't get killed here.
Right.
I think she just runs from the room and runs into the janitor. So the others are in like the main room, and they decide to split up and look for the other people. And okay, this is kind of a complaint about this movie. Those characters feel like they're just there to like up the body count, like just to die. Yeah. Like they don't really add much.
Well, and Kathy and so we didn't really talk about this room. I don't remember what they call it, but there's a room in there.
I think it's called the party room.
Is it?
I think so.
You're right. So there's a room in there where.
Is this whenever Liv meets up with the janitor? Isn't this when she tells the story of what actually happened here? Should we tell that now?
Yeah.
Okay. So there were a group of 8 people that were employees at the place, and I assume they probably used to dress up in costumes like the characters.
The guy that owned it was a sadistic killer, too.
Jerry Robert Willis.
Yes.
But all his friends were too.
And he hired them to work at his place.
Well, if you read the comics, he didn't really hire them. They open it together. But yeah. So okay, let me say this. If you read the comics, you find out that they're actually all serial killers that escaped an asylum together. And then they found an abandoned place that they turned into Willy's. But it's funny because the Institute had to be close enough to, I think it's Hayesville is the town name.
Sounds right.
That they could just walk there, but also it had to be far enough that the cops wouldn't find them.
Right.
And on top of that, it just so happens it's the town that Jed lives in, unless Jed specifically moved there. Because Jed is, I believe, Cammy. Yeah, Jed is Cammy's brother. And Jed is the one that built the animatronics for the restaurant. He took pictures that Willis drew while he was in the asylum and turned them into the animatronics. Anyway, and we also see in prison that sorry, I keep going on about the comics. This isn't movie, this is comics. When they're in the asylum, we see that Jerry has a book that he got from the library in the asylum that's like Satanic 101 or something, like Satanism 101. It reminds me of in the Chucky series, how he gets a book that's voodoo for dummies. Like, it reminds me of that kind of thing. Anyway, so he has that book, and he brings it with him to what they turn into the restaurant. But in the movie, what we find out is they own the restaurant and they just had it for a while as a regular restaurant, but they would have parties in the party room and they would invite families back there. Well, the families they invited back there would disappear, and eventually the police came after them because they realized they were killing families. And like right when the police pull up to the restaurant, they do a ritual where they kill themselves and put their bodies into those of the animatronics.
Right. And Liv is telling this, and I don't remember if this is when we find out that Liv's parents died from the animatronics. I think that's later on.
I think that's later on. I think you're right, and it's when she's talking to like the state cop or whatever.
So, so she tells the story to the janitor, and he just like, he never shows any emotion. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but he just kind of turns and walks away from her, like he's not worried about any of it.
And he turns and walks, and she follows him, but I don't even necessarily think it was him walking away. I think it's just him walking, and he doesn't care that she follows either. Like, he doesn't care whether she follows or not.
Right.
He's just walking.
Right.
And I feel like he just continues to clean.
Yeah. And so then we cut to Kathy, and I think it's Kathy and Bobby, and they're a couple.
Yeah.
And they are.
And like I said, they split up. So they. I'm sorry, you can.
They go into the party room, which is the room where they did the ritual and killed themselves.
Yeah.
She gets turned on, so they start having sex.
Yeah. And what's the line that the guy says? Oh, you're freaky, freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite line in the movie.
And she sees... Who is it that's standing back there?
I think it's Artie. It's Artie, because it's the alligator. Mm-hmm. It's Artie.
So... she's like, hey, how long's that been there? And he says, well, forever, it's fine. Well, then it starts to move, and he's like, well, where the heck did it go? So then it kills him.
Yeah, it kills him while she's still on him.
Yeah. Here's my question about the movie, though.
Yeah.
So you've got, which obviously, spoiler alert, everybody dies, except for Liv and the janitor. Like, all of her friends die.
Yeah.
Why wasn't that enough of a sacrifice? Like, if the janitor was okay as one sacrifice, and one person was okay, why is it not okay that, like, 5 people died?
Because he fought back. He was killing them.
Oh, that makes sense, okay.
If the kids had just broken in and died, that would have been the sacrifice.
Okay, gotcha. So does he kill her at this point too?
Yeah. I don't know if we see her die. She might die off screen. But she definitely dies at this point.
Right.
So, is this when we switch to... I don't know his name. The dude in the arcade?
Maybe. When do we see the cop the sheriff again?
It might be here.
Some part in between all of this, we
Sorry, this is kind of disjointed, but...
we go to the police station, and it's the sheriff, and she's got a federal, or a state...
Oh, that is here.
A state cop with her.
Yeah, that is here.
It is here, you're right. Well, we do see him. He goes and hides in the arcade, and he's hiding in like a...
Because he walked by the room and saw blood splash up.
Yeah, and I don't even really know... It's kind of like... Kind of puts you in the mind of like a spaceship ride, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's open on the front.
I don't think it's a ride. I think it's one of those shooting games.
Well, that's kind of one. Yeah. But... So
like,
he is finally smart.
It reminds me of the one in Despicable Me. Knocked over.
So then we cut to the police station, and we see the sheriff, and she is sitting there with a state cop, and he asks her why she requested backup for one night. So do you think that...
I think she's the only sheriff.
Well, no, do you think...
Or the only cop.
But do you think that night, like, it's a certain day, and that's why she knew she needed backup?
No, I think she just knew she needed backup because he told her he had the strips. I think that was his saying, hey...
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out if it was like a certain day of the year they had to feed him.
I just think it's whenever the people come into town.
So, the phone rings, or he asks why she asked for backup, and she says we're gonna sit here all night and hope that phone doesn't ring. Well, then the phone rings, and it's one of Liv's friends, and he tells him that
people are dying
at Willy's Wonderland, and she doesn't believe him, so she hangs up.
And then the state cop asks about it.
I think she kind of does believe him.
She knows what's going on.
Right.
She knows what's happening. She just can't get involved.
Right. And so then he calls back a second time. Well, before he calls back,
she tells the state guy that it's a prank call.
Right. And something about they get what they deserve or something.
I don't think she says that here. I think this time she just says it's a prank call.
No, I think she does, because she doesn't care until he calls back and says that Liv's there.
Maybe.
So the smart kid turns around and calls back again and tells her that Liv is in there, and so then that gets her motivated, and they head out to Willy's Wonderland.
And so is this when she explains what happened?
Yes. When they're on their way to Willy's.
Yeah. So essentially, I mean, there's not much to say. Liv hid, and the animatronics didn't kill her for some reason.
Yeah, they killed her parents, and when the sheriff got there, they found her.
So the sheriff adopted her.
And she basically says it was like not like it wasn't expected.
Yeah.
Like,
I think she says something like life gives you unexpected things or something like that.
So they're on their way to Willy's, and
Tito. When does Tito get outside? Do we ever see that, or do we just see him outside?
I think we just see him outside.
Okay.
But when is
I mean, the front doors haven't been opened yet. When do we see him outside?
Yeah.
His arm gets broken.
Who does he fight?
I don't know. He might just fight the janitor.
No, he fights somebody out on the road. Liv and... Oh!
Just wait. We'll get there.
Right.
Okay, so... I don't think Tito is outside yet.
No.
I think he's in the hallway at one point and just gets punched in the face, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so back inside, what's-his-face is cowering inside the rocket ship, and he hears a voice, and it's Cammy Chameleon, and she's like, I'm not like the others, I won't hurt you,
she
just
sounds
come
really
out.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And she says that she never wanted to be trapped there.
So he believes her, and he comes out, and he, like, comes up to her, and they're talking, and she's like, I'll be your friend, and all this stuff. And I think that's when Liv comes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's Liv and the janitor.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier, Liv had a knife that the janitor took from her. Right?
And, and Liv's like, get away from her.
Oh, because I think Liv went to attack one of the animatronics when it wasn't moving. And he took the knife from her and, like, picked her up.
Yeah.
So now,
But Liv tells her friend, like, get away from her, she's not what you think. And he's like, no, she's different.
And then she snaps her tongue out and snaps his neck.
Yeah. So this is what I started to talk about earlier, where he's got her knife.
And he's like, preps for a fight.
And his watch goes off.
Yeah.
So he just hands the knife to Liv and walks off and goes to the kitchen for his break.
Mm-hmm. And so we see her, like, fight her off. I think she cuts her tongue with the knife. Or does her leg just get grabbed?
I thought she stabbed her. Because he comes in and grabs her by the tongue and swings her around by her tongue.
Yeah. So anyway, they have some kind of fight, and then the janitor's break is over, so he comes back and ends up killing Cammy.
Right.
And I think this point he's dragging her down the hallway, and this is when he punches Tito in the face.
I think so too. Yeah.
Because Tito's just standing there. I think Siren, Sarah, and Tito might be standing in the hallway. And he just punches Tito in the face and walks past him.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember where exactly this line is in the movie, but there's one part... Oh, never mind, we're not there yet. We're getting close.
Okay. So, I think he fights Nighty Night first, right? Nighty Night comes after him? Or did that happen earlier?
No, because it's Nighty Night, and then he fights
Siren Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he takes out Nighty Night, he takes out Siren Sarah. I don't have much to say about those.
The Night, he just takes his sword and stabs the Night with his sword.
Sarah, he, like, sits on her neck.
That's part of where you were talking about her being a contortionist. She does some really cool flips and stuff in this part.
But he ends up, like, pinning her down. Does he snap her neck? I feel like he pins her down and then snaps her neck.
I think so. He does something to her.
Yeah. So she's incapacitated.
Right. And he puts her in a trash bag.
And puts her by the door.
Yeah.
So I think this is when he has his final face down with Willy.
No, because the sheriff shows up before he has his
That's,
face down
yep,
with
you're
Willy.
right.
And they get in there, and he tells the policeman, the state policeman, to take Liv back to the station and lock her in a cell.
Yeah.
And she asks Liv where her friends are, and she says they're all dead. So then this is where Liv and the police officer are driving back to the station, and Tito is in the road.
And Tito ends up on top of the car?
Yeah, and so the police officer stops, and then he kills the police officer.
Yes. So this is when Tito would have snuck out, when the sheriff opened the doors.
Yeah.
But then Liv ends up in the driver's seat.
I'm not trying to interrupt, but we need to back up just a little bit. When the police is telling the story, when the sheriff is telling the story, she tells him that they made a deal with Willy.
Yeah.
Because the animatronics were getting out, and there was a bloodbath at their ice cream shop, and even at the school.
Which you see in the comics. You see all of that in the comics. You see the ice cream shop. You see the school.
And so they made a deal that they would feed them instead of them feeding on people in this city.
Yeah, so they feed them outsiders.
Right. So anyway, Tito gets out and kills the cop. So the line I mentioned earlier, Liv says this before she leaves with the cop. She says he's not trapped in there with them, they're trapped in there with him. He's not trapped in there with them, they're trapped in there with him. And that is a reference to what someone in Watchmen says that. Or that is said about someone in Watchmen.
Oh. Like the comic or the movie?
The comic.
I don't remember that. It's been a long time since I've read it, though.
Yeah.
I think I was in, 6th grade.
Yeah. Why was your mom letting you read that stuff in 6th grade?
Because I don't think you knew I was reading it.
So then Liv goes back to... She heads back to Willy's.
Yeah, well, okay. So, they're in the car. They hear something on the roof, I think. Or maybe the front windshield gets cracked or something. Anyway, Tito is on top of the car. And the state cop is killed. So she crawls into the driver's seat and ends up flinging Tito off the top of the car, which is how his arm gets damaged.
Right.
Then she turns around and drives back to Willy's.
Right.
In the meantime, at Willy's, he's handcuffed, isn't he?
Yes.
Or zip tied.
Yes, and they're leaving him there. Like, the sheriff is begging Willy to take him as a sacrifice.
Leave the town alone.
You know, I'm sorry this happened. This wasn't planned. Like, here's our sacrifice.
So.
But he never fights back. Like, he just, with the sheriff, the janitor never fights back.
The sheriff has a shotgun to his back, too.
Well,
I will say that.
True. Yeah. And one thing we didn't talk about is, we're kind of all over the place with this one, but there's one part where he's playing the pinball machine, and he must have got a good score or something because he dances. It's
almost, the way he acts, it's almost sexual.
Yeah, and he improvised that dance. It was not in the script.
But it's almost like, he almost humps the machine. It's very
Yeah.
It's just odd.
Yeah.
But doesn't she turn her back to Willy and she's talking to the janitor and he kills her?
Yes.
So he ends up breaking the zip ties while this is going on, right?
Well, he fights him at first with the zip tie still on.
Yeah, because he kicks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So how does he end up breaking them?
I don't remember. That's terrible. I just watched it this morning.
I know. It did. Does he end up fighting Willy hand to hand?
I think so.
Okay, so this is a scene then that I wanted to mention that happened earlier. He goes into the break room, and I think it's the mop sticks he ties together. He duct tapes them together. Oh, and the other thing, too, is throughout this movie, he keeps getting hurt. He still gets hurt from the fights.
Yeah.
He's, bleeding from his stomach.
I meant to mention that, too.
He gets caught on his
cheek.
On his cheek, yeah. And he he just puts duct tape over it, and like it's nothing. And like whenever he gets like hurt, like he wraps his stomach in duct tape.
And this is one of the parts we do hear him make noise because you can tell it hurts.
Yeah. But anyway, so I think it's before he fights Siren Sarah. He goes in the break room and puts the two parts of the mop together, like he duct tapes them together, and then he puts the rest of his punch cans in a bag and swings it and uses that as a weapon.
Yeah.
So we have our final face-off with Willy, and this is one of the funniest moments in the movie to me, because he kicks the jukebox, right? That's this scene, right? He kicks the jukebox, and you're like, oh, some song's gonna come on. And the song that comes on is Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes.
Yes. Yes. And it's like, it's kid songs throughout this movie, but they make them kind of creepy.
Yeah. Especially like the Happy Birthday song.
Yeah.
Or It's Your Birthday.
Yeah.
But anyway, so him and Willy fight, and there's this, they're like facing off against each other, like looking at each other. And there's this perfect scene where in any other action movie they'd say a one-liner, where we zoom in on the janitor's face and he's facing off against Willy. Any other movie there would be a one-liner here, but the janitor never speaks.
Right.
So nothing happens.
Right.
So it's just like this beat where you're like, is he gonna say something? And then no, the fight just starts.
It didn't in the script they originally had him say he had
Yes.
a few lines, but Nick Cage thought it would be better with
I said that at the beginning, and I think this was one of the parts where there was a line. But it's so much funnier without there being a line there.
Yeah. So, the janitor wins.
Yeah.
And so then it's morning,
and since the sheriff took the chains off the door, he can just walk outside now.
Right.
So he takes all the trash bags and throws them in the dumpster.
Yeah. And so then it's morning, and Tex is back outside the place, and
he does donuts in it. And
Jed does. Tex is standing there waiting. Jed is in.
Yes. Yeah.
In the janitor's car.
Yeah.
And so
Jed pulls up in the Camaro, does donuts.
Yeah. And he says, Tex says this is a good one to add to the collection. So obviously they keep the good cars from people. So Jed
hands the keys to Tex.
Yeah. And Tex goes and looks in the window, and he's like, oh my gosh, the whole restaurant's clean.
I think they see the trash bags too.
Probably.
With the animatronics in it.
But he's like, the whole place is clean. So then, does he go inside?
The janitor
comes. No, he goes inside because we see the stage is all clean, but the animatronics are gone.
And the janitor just like takes his keys.
Yeah, so he puts his hand out and Tex gives him his keys and he walks out. And then we see Liv. She comes out and they just kind of look at each other.
Yeah.
And he gets in the driver's seat and she just walks over and gets in the passenger seat.
Without like any line said.
Yeah, nothing said. So then we cut back to...
Well, and they drive off.
They drive off, and then we cut back to Willy's on the outside.
Yeah.
And we see Siren Sarah climbing...
Well, Jed... Yeah.
Climbing out of the trash.
Yes.
And then what were you going to say about Jed?
Jed and Tex get back in a car.
It's Tex's car.
Yeah, Tex's car. And while they're sitting there...
Did you notice that the sheriff's truck's there? Or somebody's truck is there? The kid's truck is there, and they don't even think anything of it.
No.
Like, Jed and Tex don't even think about that truck being there. Like, nothing's mentioned.
Maybe the sheriff informed them at some point. Maybe. I mean, we saw she had a phone.
Well, I'm not saying it's a flaw, like it, but it's kind of like they didn't care who lived.
Yeah,
who
that's
died.
True. So they get in their car, or in Jed's car, or in Tex's car, if I could speak. And earlier when we saw Siren Sarah crawl out of the trash can, she picked up the thing of gasoline that was left by the kids. And she gets in the back of that car, we find out, and she ends up blowing it up.
She puts a rag in their tailpipe with gas on it.
Does she?
Yeah. And they're talking, and he sees her in the mirror.
Now,
what does she say? Does she say, like, thanks for visiting Willy's Wonderland, or
come again, or something?
Yeah, hope you had fun, or something.
So and it's in like a very chipper voice.
Yeah. The whole car blows up.
Yeah.
She goes flying across the parking lot. We'll never see her again.
I will say, one thing that I think is dumb is In the comics, we find out that Jed is the one that built the animatronics, and he repairs them. And Cammy is his sister. So I don't
That's
think...
not indicated in the movie.
I don't think his character in the movie lines up with his character in the comic.
Right.
And even in the comic, it's almost like Jed calls the shots more than Tex. Which is like the reverse in the movie.
I mean, Tex or Jed is responsible for finding the people.
I know, but you know what I mean? Like, he gives Tex the keys to the car. Tex owns the restaurant.
So...
Which, I mean, Tex owns the restaurant in the comics too, but I just mean, like, it's... Jed feels more feels more subservient in the movie.
Yeah. So then our final scene is...
Oh, yeah.
Janitor.
I wanted to say this. Jed refers to the animatronics as his family in the comics. So...
So final scene, the janitor and Liv are in his car, and he opens one of his energy drinks, and he looks at her.
He goes to take a drink and stops himself.
And gives it to her.
Yeah.
And then they're driving down the road, and Tito is in the middle of the road.
And he's holding his arm.
Yeah.
And he says something in Spanish.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And, the janitor just guns it and runs him over.
Yeah. He doesn't slow or anything. He just full on hits him and then just keeps going.
Yeah, and his body, like, we see Tito's kind of, like, all over.
Shatter, yeah. And that's about where it ends.
Yeah. And so, between our research, between the two of us,
yeah,
we've kind of sort of figured out that there might be a sequel in the works, but it's on hold right now. Yeah. January 2024 production was supposed to have started, but and you found something that said it wasn't.
Geo Parsons posted on Twitter and said, like, obstacles have come up, but it's still in the works or something like that.
So, I would love to see a sequel. I'd love to see a prequel.
Yeah.
Too. But if there's a sequel, it needs to have the janitor and it needs to have Liv.
So, do you know why in the comics the janitor went there?
No.
His brother died first.
Oh.
The comic ends with a guy coming through, his tires pop. It's basically what we see at the beginning of the movie. Oh. But the guy actually speaks, and he says, I'll do this for you, but the only reason I'm doing it is because my brother's coming along. He likes cool cars too, but he doesn't talk quite as much as I do. And then he goes in, and that's kind of where the comic ends.
That's kind of a cool segue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love this movie. I highly recommend it. It's a fun one. It's kind of tense. There's some intense scenes in there. And like we talked about, like, it's not blood, it's oil, but it's still pretty...
I mean, there are some bloody scenes,
right,
though.
But it's still pretty graphic. Like,
yeah.
Even just oil is, you know... And Nick, I don't think anybody could have pulled that role off like Nick did.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Do you have any closing comments on Willy?
Not on Willy, but I have a closing comment on Nicholas.
Okay.
I think sometime we should do a series, like, just, like, dedicate a month or whatever and just do Nicolas Cage movies. Because there's like, Mandy, there's Color Out of Space.
There's Mom and Dad, Moms and Dads.
I think there's the one with the pig. I don't know if that one's really horror.
I'm sure we can make it work. We should do the Kevin James horror movie.
There's a Kevin James horror movie?
Becky.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
We need to do, this is, like, unrelated, but it just reminded me of it, because I think it has Josh Gad in it. We need to do that zombie one I told you about. Little Monsters.
Oh, yeah.
And not the one with Howie Mandel.
So, next week, we will be doing...
Jeepers Creepers.
And then we have some cool stuff planned for the month of October.
Yes, I will say this now in case you need to, like, get a hold of it or want to read it in time. There is a it's called Sam's Trick or Treat 10th Anniversary Collection, and it's a graphic novel that includes basically a graphic novel adaptation of the Trick or Treat movie along with some new content. That is the book we are going to be doing in October, so that'll be on October 17th.
And we will also be doing one on the movie Trick or Treat.
Yes. And that will either be the week before or the following week, depending on how it falls.
So next is Jeepers Creepers, and then we'll be getting into October, right?
Yeah, and I think our theme for October this year is anthologies. I think we're going to do an anthology every week.
Yes. So If you have any ideas on anthologies we can do, drop them in the comments. Let us know. And peace out, Girl Scout.
Have a great day.